All right, here we go. Here we go. What's really behind making women comfortable? Right? Let me plug the joint again. What's really behind making women comfortable? You know, trying to make women comfortable suggests that women aren't comfortable around you. Let me say that shit again. You having the mentality that you need to consciously and purposefully say and or do things to make a woman comfortable or to get a woman comfortable suggests that women aren't comfortable around you. Today, we're going to talk about this. We're going to take a deeper dive, right? It's not going to be so much about sex, right? Because I've told you guys when a woman is sexually attracted to you, the comfortability is built into that desire. Okay. Again, when a woman is sexually attracted to you, the comfortability is already built in to that desire or into that desire. Right? Understand that. What's really behind making women comfortable? Again, affective presence. Right? What is effective presence? Right? Let me just read this, right? Because it's too long to put up on here. Effective presence refers to the consistent emotional impact a person has on others, regardless of their own emotional state. It's a personality trait that describes how someone makes others feel when they are around, and it can be either positive or negative. So I'm going to break down what that means, right? Effective presence refers to the consistent emotional impact a person has on others, regardless of their own emotional state. I'll give you a prime example. My ex-wife, right? Her her father passed away in October of 2015, I believe. Right? October 2015, right? And she was in mourning for quite a while, right? So fast forward, my mother passes away in March 31st to be exact. March of 2016, right? So you what? October, November, December, January, February. Barely 6 months, right? Boom. 6 months later, my mama passes, right? So my ex-wife, she is still in mourning at this time. So I'm still being her rock, right? While at the same time, I'm dealing with my own shit because of the passing of my mother. So let me read the definition again. Effective presence refers to the consistent emotional impact a person has on others, regardless of their own emotional state. It's a personality trait that describes how someone makes others feel when they are around, and it can be either positive or negative, right? So when we talk about effective presence, what it really is, you can say it's my default setting. It's just how I am, right? And as I break this down, you're going to see what I mean. It's just how I am. So whether I'm going through something, whether I'm sad, happy, mad, glad, whatever I'm feeling, there's a consistency about my presence that's soothing to the women that I deal with, right? Effective presence, right? Now, this is not a word that I came up with, right? I came across an article, right? And I'll put the link below, as I always do. I'll put the link below in the comment section, and y'all can, read it for yourself and all that other shit, right? And it's titled "The Personality Trait That Makes People Feel Comfortable Around You." The personality trait that makes people feel comfortable around you. People with positive, effective presence are easy to be around and oil the gears of social interaction. Let me read that again, because this is the mistake that a lot of you guys make. You think you have to purposefully and consciously say and or do certain things to facilitate a woman feeling comfortable in your presence. No, 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 no. Effective presence. People with positive, effective presence. See, when you have low self esteem, do you have positive, effective presence? No, you don't. When you lack confidence, do you have positive, effective presence? No, you don't. So if you think low of yourself, you don't think all that high of yourself, you think you're too short, you think you're overweight, you think these negative things about yourself, are you going to have positive, effective presence? Let's read that again. People with positive, effective presence are easy to be around and oil the gears of social interactions. In short, what am I saying? When you are a self assured man, brimming with confidence, and you have a high degree of high self esteem, or you have a high self esteem, you're very confident, damn near cocky and arrogant with your shit. Women already feel comfortable around you. Why? Because you feel comfortable around yourself. You see that? See, so for all you guys looking for these magic words to say and all this shit, looking for Cupid's arrow and love potions and the easy way to get at a woman, right? You're always going to struggle. Why? Because you lack effective presence. So I'm going to read a couple of excerpts and we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of this, right? Again, what's really behind making women comfortable? Now, let's throw this up in here, okay? Authenticity. If you're overly focused on appearing comfortable, because make no mistake about it, a lot of these guys who try and make women feel comfortable, they themselves are already uncomfortable in the presence of women. So what they're really trying to do is they are trying to make the interactions comfortable for themselves as to not to alarm the woman and make her uncomfortable. You see what I'm saying? Authenticity. If you're overly focused on appearing comfortable, it can come across as inauthentic or forced, potentially creating discomfort instead of ease. So, what a lot of these guys do is in their bid to attempt to make a woman feel comfortable, they actually make women feel uncomfortable. And then they call in these shows and ask shit like, what did I do? What happened? And then we tell guys, bro, you were acting weird. You were acting creepy. And here's another thing. This is a tall tale sign that guys trying to make women feel comfortable suggest women aren't comfortable around them. Tall tale sign. When guys call in and they say this shit right here, I just don't want to sound creepy. I mean, I could be direct, but I don't want to sound creepy. The mere fact that you would even look at yourself in that way, the mere fact that you would even think or conjure up the thought that a woman could view you in such a way already suggests you don't feel comfortable around women. And that's a result of you not feeling comfortable around yourself, right? So let's move on. Perceived pressure. Emphasizing making her comfortable can inadvertently imply that there is something to be uncomfortable about in the first place. Putting pressure on a woman to act a certain way. So when guys are trying to make a woman feel comfortable, that's exactly what they're doing. They're putting pressure on her to act a certain way because they want validation because of the way that they're acting. Right? This is why guys, when they're talking to women and a woman is trying to politely reject them, they can't take no for an answer Because in their warped mind, they're like, I'm doing all the things to make her feel comfortable. I didn't say anything about sex. And what your goofy ass is not understanding is that bringing up sex or broaching the topic of sex is not what makes women feel uncomfortable. It's the guy who is broaching the topic of sex. It's not the fact that you're broaching the topic of sex, it's who you are, it's how the woman perceives you to be. And that's the problem. You're not that guy. She's looking at you like you're not that guy. Look, let me tell y'all something. Even when women weren't interested in what I had to say sexually, they never looked at me or spoke to me like I wasn't that guy. Right? The feedback that I got was, all right, yeah, I'm not interested, but they didn't come at me like, who are you to even be talking like this? No, they came at me like, yeah, I can see how you can talk like that. I can see how some chicks might fuck with you, but I'm not interested personally. Right? Why? Why? It's because I'm very comfortable with who I am. And I'm very comfortable with how I articulate myself. So it makes sense. If it comes from me, it makes sense that I said it, even if the woman isn't interested. Right? So the woman isn't uncomfortable at all that I broach the topic of sex. She's not uncomfortable at all. It's not about broaching the topic of sex. It's who is broaching the topic of sex. Right? Now let's go on to the next one. A strong emphasis on making someone comfortable could be perceived as manipulative or disingenuous. And this is what I wanted to get to. What's really behind making women comfortable? The mere fact that you guys, when you first come upon these women, the very first thing you think about when you see them is sex. Even if you want a relationship, you still think about sex. When you first see that woman, you look at her, you look at her body, her face, her hair, you look at everything, her legs, everything, and sex pops into your head. But when you go over there and conversate, you make a concerted effort to go out of your way to avoid saying anything that could remotely suggest your sexual interest. You're being manipulative in those situations. So now, not only are you going out of your way to avoid saying anything that could imply your true interest, which is sexual, right? So now you're going out of your way to say and or do things to make women feel comfortable, and part of that is making her feel like your interest isn't sexual, when in fact it really is. So the mere fact that you're going out of your way to say and or do things to make women feel comfortable is disingenuous on your part and highly deceptive. Yes, it is. Your words cannot hide your energy or natural disposition. This is why when you guys be asking for words to say, words can't save you, brother. Why? Again, let me tell you why words can't save you. Effective presence. You don't have the effective presence of a player. You don't have the effective presence of a man who is comfortable being sexual around women he just met. You don't have that aura. You don't have your energy, so your words cannot hide your true energy. And that is of a man who doesn't feel confident sexually. He doesn't feel like he's that dude. Your words cannot hide your energy or natural disposition. Hope y'all got your crayons out. Shout out to Steve the Dean. What's really behind making women comfortable? So again, I came across this article, and I'm going to read again some excerpts from it, and we're going to finish this up. The personality trait that makes people feel comfortable around you, people with positive, effective presence, are easy to be around and oil the gears of social interactions. What does that mean? That means that we are the initiators. We're the shit starters. We make things happen. Yeah, we go out there in the world, we interact with people socially, and things happen. people end up in places they didn't initially see themselves at when the night first began. Shit happens, right? So Julie Beck is the author, right? Or the author, right? So let me read a couple of excerpts. Some people can walk into a room and instantly put everyone at ease. Others seem to make teeth clench and eyes roll no matter what they do. A small body of psychology research supports the idea that the way a person tends to make others feel is a consistent and measurable part of his personality. Researchers call it affective presence. Let me read that again. I'm gonna read that again. I'm gonna slow it down because a lot of you guys, you lack this. You lack this. And this also, all of this ties into what it truly means to be an attractive man that women gravitate to. This also ties into sex appeal as well. It all ties into it, right? Again, some people can walk into a room and instantly put everyone at ease. Others seem to make teeth clench and eyes roll no matter what they do. A small body of psychology research supports the idea that the way a person tends to make others feel is a consistent and measurable part of his personality. What does that mean? That means when you encounter women, women tend to consistently experience the same things with you, right? And if you know your way around women, it's usually positive, right? But the reason why others, again, person tends to make others feel is a consistent and measurable part of his personality. Although you've dealt with multiple women, if all of those women were in a room and they had a conversation about you, there would be a lot of consistency and familiarity with what's being shared about you because of how you make others feel, right? Guys who are overly concerned with making women feel comfortable, they're overly concerned with offending women, they're very inconsistent with how they show up. This is why they have inconsistent results because you are inconsistent with your presence. And oftentimes you have a negative affective presence, and women can pick up on that, right? So let's move on. It seems that our own way of being has an emotional signature, says Elfin Bean, a business professor of Washington University in St. Louis. Again, it seems that our own way of being has an emotional signature, right? I briefly touched on some time ago about patterns of behaviors. Like when you deal with enough women, right? There are things that women do that are very familiar to you, right? So women who are sexually attracted to you, there are things that women do, whether it's overt or subtle, that you always tend to pick up on because it's a consistent thing you've always seen, right? So again, we're talking about an emotional signature. So if I understand when a woman is sexually attracted to me without us even talking about sex, I already pick up that she's feeling me sexually. I've seen this before. And the reason why I've seen this before is because I have my own emotional signature that women have responded to in the past quite favorably. And all I'm doing is I'm seeing the same shit. I'm seeing the same patterns of behavior, right? So let's go on to the next joint. It's been known for some time that emotions are contagious. If a person feels angry, she may well infect her neighbor with that anger. But affective presence is an effect one has regardless of his own feelings. Those with positive affective presence make other people feel good, even if they personally are anxious or sad. And the opposite is true for those with negative affective presence, meaning when you have negative affective presence, you can't make people feel good. You can't make people feel good. Even when you're happy, you cannot make people feel good. Like a real quick example of that would be you might have got a promotion earlier that day. And you go out with your homies celebrating, tossing back a couple of drinks, and you run into some chicks. Yeah, you're happy about that promotion. You're elated. You're in a good mood, right? Spirits are high, but you're still that scared guy. You're still that guy with low self esteem who's insecure, who's afraid that women are going to reject him harshly. You're still that guy. So when you're on your high from your promotion and you go talk to that woman, eventually the fact that you have a negative affective presence is going to come out in your conversation. And you're not going to you're going to lack the ability for people to feel good in your presence. And that's where sexual attraction starts. Sexual desire starts. Is a woman feeling good in your physical presence? What's really behind making women comfortable? Effective presence. Like, share, and subscribe.